everyone, welcome back to the second episode of Artist Chitchats. First of all, we wanted to thank you for being so patient with us. We know that our live stream skills sucked quite a bit last time, but still so many of you came to watch our first episode with Nitzan Haros. Thanks again for submitting so many questions. Shortly we are going to welcome our next guest and start today's Q&A.
Our guest today doesn't really need much introduction. He's a rock star in the trombone world. He's the most subscribed brass player on YouTube. In addition to that, he's the director of the ITF, the International Trombone Festival's Youth Shop, and a big inspiration to a lot of trombonists growing up. Welcome, Chris Bill.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
It's good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I've been here for a couple months almost. So yeah, I don't know. It wasn't that long ago that I actually saw you guys.
Yeah, that's true.
Was that March?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beginning of March.
Yeah. How are you guys doing? No.
We're doing pretty good. It's just like always for us. We're practicing at home and just enjoying our time here in Vienna.
Yeah. When's the last time you spent this long at home?
Oh, it's pretty long.
3 years?
Yeah.
Like actually before we started doing this.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it was 2014 was the last time I had this much time at home. It's kind of nice.
It is.
I mean, yeah, I don't mind it.
So with all of this craziness going on, we heard that New York is the new hotspot of the coronavirus. Would you mind telling us about the current situation there?
Well, so luckily I live outside of New York City, just a little bit, but enough. So I live up in a tiny house. This is my tiny house on a farm, and so there's a lot going on right here where I am in my town, but I'm outside of the really craziness. So but I mean, all my friends and everybody, they're all in the city. And it was scary for a while. Lots of everybody just hanging out inside and afraid to go to the grocery store and everything. But they had a something out that said even now, more than half of New Yorkers have already gotten it. And it's kind of like, okay, well, so the worst of it's over, even if we didn't want it to be. So that's what it seems like anyway. But for me, not much is different. I can still go on hikes and stuff out here because it's not as populated. So for me anyway, it's been okay. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's dive right into it. What inspired you to start a YouTube channel?
Ooh, so do you want the trombone answer or the everything answer?
Everything.
Okay, so I don't tell a lot of people this, so don't tell anybody. I started a YouTube channel my freshman year of undergrad with a friend of mine, and it's not the YouTube channel I have now. It was a different one. It was called I'm not going to say what it was called, and you can watch those videos, but they're very embarrassing. I almost slipped. That would have been bad. But it was a two-person kind of comedy music thing. And we thought we were going to be famous. We had good skits. We had good songs. They weren't great skits or great songs. They were good. And it was like it was the first month, like September of my freshman year. I had started this YouTube channel with a friend. We were already making music. And that was inspired by going to a show in New York City, a comedy show. And we just kind of wanted to try. I remember on the train ride back, we were like, let's start a YouTube channel. Let's see what happens, write skits and stuff. So that happened for a whole year. And then at the end of that year, I was like, I think we got to take this to the next level. We got to make videos every week. We got to like really work a lot harder on this. We had a couple that did okay, but I wanted to like really take it seriously, and he did not. Because he was in college and he wanted to have a good time, which makes a lot of sense. I was a crazy person and wanted to just work hard,
Not
even
just
on the fun
was.
stuff. Yeah. So just was. So I started my own YouTube channel. And for the record, I still work with him all the time. He's my writing partner. We did an album together. So it's not like I was like, you're out of here. But yeah. So at the end of that year, I started my own YouTube channel and started putting trombone stuff up. And that's where that one started at the end of my freshman year. And that was just because I had these recordings. I was arranging for other groups. That was kind of like my side job for trombone quartets. And I had friends that would get together and play them before I would sell them, see what they sounded like, see if I had to make any changes. And they were not super into that. You know, it was fun, but I wanted to take it a little more seriously again. And so I started recording all the parts myself and have these recordings. And so then I just put them on YouTube. It wasn't like, for that one, it wasn't like, I'm going to make YouTube videos and make content for YouTube. Not at the beginning anyway. And it was just kind of like, oh, I have these recordings. I'll put them on YouTube, see what happens. And so, yeah, that was the beginning of that one. Mm-hmm.
Great. Who's your favorite YouTube artist?
Ooh, music, not music, anything?
Whatever you prefer.
Oh man, favorite? You can't do that to me. I'm going to tell you some of my favorites. So Charles Cornell is up there for me. Do you guys know Charles? He's a piano player. He makes memes into music, and also I went to college with him. He was a jazz major, and I was a classical major. So I would shout out Charles every day. Adam Neely, bass player and musician.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah, I'll
Our
give you those.
listeners know what to do with those now. Check them out.
Yeah, yeah.
What has been your favorite song to arrange so far?
Is the only answer the collaboration with Peter, or
That's the only right one.
yeah? I would say, I mean, the International Trombone Festival collaborations. So Don't Stop Believin' and Bohemian Rhapsody, and even the ones before that weren't as big. They're really fun. I mean, arranging versus the whole process, but arranging something like that, I know I'm not going to be playing all the parts, so I get to be kind of creative with it. The Daft Punk one this year, of course. You know, I know I can start thinking like, oh, this would be good for this person. This would be good for this person. It's, you know, a lot different than just writing the normal stuff. I want to make sure that the background parts are interesting, fun to play, everything like that. Versus when I do it for myself, like the third trombone part on everything I write is the most boring thing ever because it's easy to record, it works, it's easy to mix. You know, the melody's only in one part the whole time. Obviously, that's a lot more simple.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We do know quite a bit about you because you're posting so many videos, but some of your fans actually asked us about your personal life. Do you have any siblings and do they play any instruments?
Yes. When you said personal life, I got nervous. I was gonna have to, pass on some of this. Yeah, I have 3 siblings. I'm the youngest of 4, and yeah, it's actually why I play trombone. So my sister's the eldest, and then there's 2 brothers. So the older brother of the 2 plays trombone, and that's why I picked it. He actually played euphonium in the band, but he was playing trombone in the jazz band when I first saw him, and so I was like, I want to be like him. I'm going to play that instrument when it actually wasn't his main instrument. And my other brother plays saxophone, you know, and my sister played guitar and sang a little bit, and they were always, you know, I was I started piano lessons when I was 6 years old. And it wasn't because my parents told me to. I literally said I want to take piano lessons when I was 6 years old. So the only, it wasn't because I wanted to learn piano. It was because I wanted to be like my older siblings who were all taking piano lessons. So yeah, that kind of trend was very, very much early on. Like the first 10 years of my life was just trying to be like my siblings and stuff. Yeah.
I know that feeling. That's also why I started an instrument. I was standing next to my brother when he was 5 years old when he played the cello and just wanted to play an instrument too, and that's when I started playing the piano.
We're better than our siblings now though, so it's okay.
Hopefully. We have this crazy situation right now in the world. Has it affected your life at all? Has something changed for you?
What's going on?
Well, you should probably know in New York.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's definitely changed because I'm not traveling anymore, right? I'm not sure it's better or worse, but it's very different. For me anyway. Obviously, it's not ideal for the world and for everybody, but for me personally and specifically, I live alone. There's lots of space here. I'm on a farm. I can go hiking. There's 35 acres of land here. It's pretty ideal for the situation. And my work, I wasn't sure what that was going to look like at the beginning. I figured I could just make a ton of YouTube videos and just be a part of that. The thing with it is that I've noticed, and I noticed right off the bat, was usually my stuff has about a week to a month half-life. Like I'll post something and somebody will still be discovering it a week later. It's not crazy. Now these videos, because there's so much out there's so many people putting out stuff, it's like 8 hours, 12 hours before things get buried by all the live streams. I mean, we're doing one right now. Like this kind of great content is just it's every single day. It's all over the place. It's oversaturating. And so that changed very early on in this, and I realized I don't really want to add to it for some reason. I don't want to put out a video every day. I don't want to, which I did at the beginning. I'm going, this seems like too much. I just want to still focus on one a week and all this. And then I started getting requests from different groups. The Chicago Symphony called me. These groups called me to put together virtual ensembles because they've seen, for example, my ITF collaborations, my virtual. Big one was the Chicago Civic Orchestra, which was their 100th anniversary. And they had to miss their concert. But the problem was the concert was supposed to be 8 days from the time they called me. And that was an anniversary, so they couldn't move it, And so we put that together, this, virtual orchestra playing the Tchaikovsky Fifth. And it was great. And then a ton of people saw it. And then a ton of people have been contacting me to do it for them and for their school groups and stuff like that. And so I've not had a day off.
That's good.
Yeah. And so my focus has completely shifted. I still am doing the YouTube videos every week, but every single day I'm working basically nonstop editing these things for different groups. I have right now 10 clients open through June 1st. So just doing these virtual choirs for schools, for universities, for professional groups, and doing video editing and audio editing, and the backing tracks and telling them how to do it and best practices and all of that. I kind of have the miles to say, here's the best way to do it. And, here's the budget if you just want it done and you want a nice video, and here's the budget if you want to really make art with this, like the Civic Orchestra or a couple of these groups have wanted to, have them not just look like everybody else's, because we've all seen a bunch of these now. So, and if it's your, middle school choir, you don't really care, your concert can look like everybody else's concert. And if you're the Chicago Civic Orchestra, you might want something, better like that. So, The difference for me is the amount of work, and so I'm just kind of, I have some projects that are not as bad, and some projects that are, you know, these huge 2-3 week long with many production meetings and all this stuff. So yeah, no, it's a weird place to be when I look on, you know, my Facebook feed. All my musician friends are out of work and don't have anything, you know, any money coming in, and I have all this work. But you know, it's video editing. It's not the most exciting or creative stuff in the world, but very busy, and I'm super happy to be busy. And I actually really love it, to be honest with you.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
Imagine being back in your pre-corona life and
Okay.
hopefully post-corona life.
Yeah.
Posting a video every Saturday. How do you plan your week? What's your schedule?
Well, pre and post this, I'm not home, you know, very often. And although I might decide to be home a little more often now because this is pretty okay. But
Same here.
yeah, right? You kind of remember what it's like to just sit for a second. Um, but anyway, pre-corona, I was traveling nonstop, and so were you guys. You guys were actually doing crazier than I was, which I didn't know was possible. Last year, I was gone, I think, 280 days, and I think you guys beat me. You were close anyway. Um, yeah, and so what that means is still posting a video every week. You know, I try to make sure that every other week is a performance of a new arrangement, something, you know, musical. And then if I'm gone for, let's say, 6 weeks on tour, I can do every other week. That's not that, something that's a little bit more like vlog style, something educational, something not as performance heavy. But I try to at least have every other week be a full performance of something new music that I've arranged. And so let's say I'm home for 5 days and then gone for 6 weeks. In those 5 days, I have to record the 3 tunes that I'm going to do. I don't have to edit them because I can edit them on the road and planes and stuff. Hopefully, the Wi-Fi at the hotel is good enough to upload that kind of stuff. And then the vlog stuff. Yeah, exactly. I am gonna come to your place. I just won't upload a video there. Yeah, so having that planned, and then I mean, it's for me, it's best if I have everything filmed and recorded, and I just have to edit on the road. I really don't like filming or recording on the road, which I've done though. There's a few times where I'll go to a conference, I'll get people together, we'll play one of my arrangements and do like a live performance. Um, when I'm actually home, to answer your question completely, it's about a 4 day turnaround for like a full video. The first day or two arranging, second day recording and editing that, and like the last day might be the thumbnail and the post production and all that stuff. Um, that's like, I'm remembering back to like 2014, 2015 when I was just making videos. It was about 5 days a week for one that comes together faster, maybe 3 days, but you know, it's a full-time job. It really is. Yeah.
Okay, if you could start over, which instrument would you choose, or would you even choose trombone again?
Probably trumpet, if I had to guess, or like drums, something cooler. So probably trumpet.
Yeah.
I mean, I started piano when I was 6, like I said, so I definitely start there. For anybody who's looking to play anything, I mean, piano is definitely the way to start. So yeah.
Is there something that you're bad at, like particularly horrible?
With music, or
in general, it can be whatever you want to. It can be cooking or whatever.
No, I'm okay at cooking. I mean, I'm bad at guitar. There's like, but I've tried. You know, like I'm probably awful at. Yeah, definitely guitar. I'm not very good. It's kind of my hobby. There's this music that's for fun. There's this music that's for work. Guitar is one of the ones that's like, that's for fun. What else am I bad at? I'm bad at a lot of stuff. But I just don't do it. So, I'm bad at cutting my hair. Yeah, I'm bad at. I'm oh, so okay. I kind of have this life philosophy that there are only a few things in life, like work, relationships and family, friends, and health, right? Just kind of those four things. And so you prioritize them and put them in an order. And the last one is the one that is just not, you're not very good at right now. And you can obviously change them day to day, hour to hour. Work is not my number one. Health is probably my number two. Friends, three. And like relationships is number four. So if there's something I'm bad at, I might say relationships. Yeah, that's probably my most candid way to answer that question.
All the fangirls are probably going like, yay! Good answer.
I said I'm bad at it.
Well, doesn't mean that the other ones are bad at it, so you just
Yeah,
have to go with it.
Yeah, maybe so.
What do you see yourself doing in 5 years?
Wow. So 6 years ago, almost to the day, it was May 1st, I moved here. I was graduating undergrad, and I moved to this house and started doing YouTube full time. So about that amount of time from now is a lifetime. I have no idea. I mean, I'll keep making YouTube videos as long as people are watching and as long as I can still be creative doing it and it doesn't feel. I mean, I remember I was doing a Ariana Grande song, and I had done one like when I was in college still, an Ariana Grande song. And I went, this sounds exactly like that other Ariana Grande song. And I went back and listened, and sure, with like lyrics and with production and with all these instruments, it sounds different, but with just trombone, no lyrics, no rhythm, they sounded exactly the same to me, and harmonically, everything melodically, it was very, very similar, which it should. It's, her song, it's her thing. But when you translate that to instrumental stuff, I was like, okay, if every song I do starts feeling like this, then I might consider doing something else. If it feels like I've already done this song, but people want to hear it because it's the new one and everybody wants it, then I might start doing something a little different. But I still love it, and it's a lot of work. And I have no idea what 5 years. What's that?
We love seeing it.
You love seeing it? Good. As long as
Yes.
people keep watching, I'll keep doing it. But yeah, I have no idea. I mean, the reason I've gotten this far is because I didn't ever have a plan. YouTube didn't exist when I started playing trombone. So I couldn't have planned for this. I went to school for classical music to get me into an orchestra. I realized I didn't really want to do that. So had I been following that plan, I wouldn't have been doing this. Next, I thought I might play on Broadway. I was just kind of meandering, around stuff that was kind of working. And you can see like the influence in like Broadway playing in my music, but I never actually did that. And so just kind of finding this thing that was working. And I'm always trying new stuff. Try streaming on Twitch, trying new platforms and all this stuff. And whatever works, I just kind of start gravitating towards that. So like Patreon, tried that. That really works. Now I make stuff specifically for Patreon because that's my main, source of income, that kind of stuff. That's just kind of try everything. And then, the ones that don't work, it's okay. You can let them fade off. And the ones that do work, that's where I end up. So 5 years from now is a lifetime, and I have no idea. Hopefully I'm still making YouTube videos. Hopefully I'm still making, having people like you guys on to support them and that kind of stuff. That's what I really love doing. But yeah, who knows? Yeah, can't answer that one.
Well, we certainly also don't really know it yet.
Right? Yeah, 5 years is a lifetime.
Yeah.
Probably more educational content if I had to guess, but I don't know.
Now we know that you're pretty bad at it, but why the long hair?
The long hair. I was in college, just decided that I've always wanted long hair, but growing up, my family did not let me. And I remember having a tantrum in middle school because I had to get my hair cut. And so I was like, I can do it now. So I'm gonna grow my hair out until I turn 21. And I'm no longer 21. Yeah, I got to 21, and that was about a year maybe 2 years. And I got to that point, and I was like, okay, I'll cut it now. And my trombone teacher in college, uh, he goes, "Oh man, like you just got through like that like awkward phase of like my hair growing out." He's like, "Now you got to enjoy it." I was like, "Okay, that's true." And so then I kept it going, and ended up, yeah, keeping it. It was longer than this last time. Donated 22 inches, and had it short for a little bit, and then got fed up with having to go get haircuts all the time and stopped. So yeah, it was only short for like a year and a half, and then I started growing it out again. But I mean, I'll probably do that. It's good. I mean, I get it cut once, twice a year. you know, it's pretty economical. Don't have to worry about it, and then I can donate it at the end of it when I finally am ready. So I'll probably just keep doing that. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your purple trombone. What
My
makes
purple
it
trombone.
special and why is it purple?
So the inside of the bell and the tuning slide are both purple, and I designed it with BAC Music with Mike Corrigan in Kansas City. And the reason it happened was because, I mean, if anybody knows Mike, you know that he is just like a giant ball of energy, and he's at all the trade shows and everything. And so before I was ever even aware of him, he was coming up to me saying like, "Hey, like, gotta get you on one of my horns," like that kind of stuff. And so I worked with Constanze for many years, and then after we parted ways, I called him up. Like the very first day, I called him up because he had been just kind of like a nice guy, didn't care that I wasn't playing his instruments, that kind of stuff. And he was like, "Well, okay, what's it gonna take to get you on one of these horns?" And I said, "Well, I love my King 2B. If you can make a horn that's better than that, then I'll play it." And so then we went off for a 2-year journey to figure out what that was. So we actually started with the 2B. I asked if we could make it in like pure silver. And he said, "Yeah, you could. It'd be expensive." And, because they used to make instruments out of silver, but silver used to be less expensive as a metal, to work with. And so you can still do it. It's just way more expensive now. And I wanted to see what it sounded like, and so I paid for it to happen. And so I definitely designed the sizing, and that they gave me like many different options, and I chose my favorite configuration of different tubes and slides and all sorts of stuff, sizes of everything, and found something I really liked. I loved the silver. I loved everything. And then I sent them a list of things that are important to me. So like sustainability and minimalism, and that I like the color purple, stuff like that. But I didn't want to see it. I said, take this list. If there's anything on here that is that you like personally, it's all important to me. So I want this to be about the people who are making the horn as well as me. And so if there's something that you respond to as the slide maker, as the bell maker, as the engraver, I want you to run with it, and don't even ask me, because if you think it looks good, it'll look good because you're the ones that make trombones for a living. Um, and so I didn't want to see it. I flew down to Kansas City, and they like unveiled it, and I looked in the bell. It was purple. Like I didn't ask for that. They just did it. My logo is the counterweight. I didn't ask for that. They just did it. The engraving is a scene like out at my pond, like all of that. It's very personal to me, but also to the people who made it, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, the reason it's purple is just because they saw that as one of the things that's important to me. They thought it would look good. But yeah, no, it's a cool accent, and it's definitely something that if you saw me playing from a mile away, you would know it's my horn, and that's cool. I definitely like that.
Yeah, that's really cool. We'll switch gear a little bit. You post a lot about vegan food, and you know that you're a really healthy eater. So the question: quinoa, bulgur, or couscous?
Quinoa all the time.
All the
No,
time.
I'm not going to be mad about any of them. but quinoa is my grain of choice for sure. A full grain with protein, with everything you need. Quinoa every time.
We are already at the final question. If
Okay.
you would have to describe your life in 3 words, what would these 3 words be?
Virtual. I'm gonna say artistic and minimalist.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, great. Well, Chris, is there
Hey,
anything that you want to tell your fans? Anything that you want to let us know before? Well,
I mean, I've got my outro like that in my brain, so I can't think of anything else. But Instagram, classical trombone; Facebook, classical trombone; YouTube, classical trombone. Yeah, I got my lesson series on Teachable. So if you're interested in some of the educational stuff, you can check that out. All the links, if you go to any of my YouTube videos, they're all listed there for all the platforms I'm on, all this stuff. I have a Discord server if you want to come hang out and actually chat. I'm in there all the time. So and there's like 1,000 people there that are really fun to hang out with and chat with. So that's another good one. But no, thanks for having me, guys.
all right. Cool. Thanks so much for being here, Chris.
Yeah.
Really
Thank
great
you.
to see you.
Likewise.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching this episode of Artist Chit Chats with Chris Bill. We really hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, please feel free to donate whatever you want via PayPal to info@steinerpeter.com.
And don't forget to subscribe and tune in for our next guest.
Bye.
Bye.